Hello traders, and I'm proud to announce the beginning of the price prediction game. So this is going to be a contest to see who can best predict the future of Bitcoin's price in the short term. Yeah, so the way that this challenge is going to be running is attached here. I'm going to be attaching this PDF in the description of this video when you want to read it. And basically, as it says here, you're going to have 24 hours to submit your first prediction, and it will be due by Friday's video. So before I get into what the prediction question is going to be for this week, let's talk about the rewards. So if you win and if you get the closest prediction out of all the people who submit entries, you're going to get 300 trading challenge bucks. So right now, TCB, trading challenge bucks, have no tangible USD or BTC value. I do have to say that. However, after a few of these challenges, whoever has the most trading challenge bucks may get a reward, a tangible reward. Cough, cough. So, yeah. So that's the first reward that you get if you are the closest prediction. The second reward that you get is that, I don't know if it's here, but whoever gets the closest price prediction, not just within 1%, but the number one, is going to get a personal shout out from me. I'm going to be showing a screenshot of your chart and your prediction that you made. And I'm also going to be allowing you to attach a custom message that I'll read to the audience for my Friday video, within reason, of course. So, yeah, so personal shout out from me on my next video. Yeah, so for the first question of this contest, it's going to be on my Discord here. If you go to prediction game, this is where you can submit all of the entries for predicting the question, but predicting price. So this is the question that I posted. That we are going to have. So what is the lowest price that BTC USD Bitfinex is going to go to? The final support level, basically, before this Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So just to clarify on what exactly I mean by that question for the first challenge, is the final support level, that could just be the 6.4K that price is currently at. But what you'd have to answer is what is the lowest point that price is going to go to from the end of this video, so from Monday at 6 p.m. From Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern to Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, you know, when the challenge is due. What is the lowest price that price may go? So that the lowest price might just be like 6.8K, or it could be like 5.8K. Who knows? So that's for you to decide what you think that the lowest price is going to be between Monday and Friday for BTC. All you have to do is just attach a screenshot of your chart, and it's important to type in the exact price that you think the price is going to go down to, and the lowest possible price that does go down. We'll see who's the closest, and then they're going to get a shout out and a custom message on my next video. Yeah, so that's just going to be it for the trading challenge for those who want to participate and win some rewards. Hello traders, and welcome to a new Bitcoin price prediction video of mine. In today's video, we're going to be doing a three-tiered analysis to try to find the final point of support that Bitcoin will be having, if there will be any support at all. Alright, so to do this three-tiered analysis, we're going to be looking at three different metrics. We're first going to start with some Elliott Wave Theory. We're going to be looking at the weekly, so the super trend, the all-time trend for Bitcoin. Then we're going to go a little bit more medium term and look at these Elliott waves. After that, we're going to be looking at the very short-term Elliott waves to see what's going on with Bitcoin and what might happen in the future. After that, we're going to be using some Fibonacci projections and also Fibonacci extensions to try to find the likely spot of reversal, the exact likely spot of reversal for Bitcoin to turn bullish. Then finally, we're going to be looking at volume and sentiment as well to finish out and see what Bitcoin may do. Okay, so without further ado, let's start on the very long-term Elliott Wave analysis before we go into this and then this. So I said this before in my previous price prediction video, and I still hold it, that if you draw an all-time Fibonacci retracement, what we do see is that the 61.8 down here has been hit. And the 61.8 to 78.6 area is typically where wave 2 likes to end, and then wave 3 likes to begin. So it would make a lot of sense that a double bottom could occur here, and then price continues to go upward. I had also said that I think around 30K would be the next resistance point. I know that sounds crazy now, but there are reasons to why 30K does make a lot of sense. If you draw a Fibonacci extension from the top here, down to the low here, turn off auto. The 1.6 win is 28.5K, and 30K as a round number would be how much percent off would that be? Would be 5.5% away. So that this area would make sense for the next price target. So price might go up to there, and then come back down to touch previous resistance down at 20K, and then continue maybe for a possible wave 5. So that would make sense for a wave 3 to have resistance there. So yeah, that's super long term. Let's go a little bit more short term now. Okay, so to look at what, I mean, this isn't really short term at all. This is many months, but what Bitcoin's doing here. So what I see here is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why do I say this? Well, this was a 61.8 retracement here and here. Let me draw that. Yep, so as you can see here, we had a slightly higher top here that might have just triggered many stop losses and also had buyers buying at bad prices for retail. And then price went lower, so that does make sense for wave 2. Wave 3. Wave 3 was here with a very, very strong downward move there, and then a wave 4 weak move upward. The 38.2 to 50 is typically what you're going to see with wave 4s. And for those who know the rule of alternation with Elliott Wave Theory, what that says is when one wave has a sharp retracement, so 61.8, the other wave is typically going to be a sideways retracement, so 38.2 to 50%. So this does make sense with the rule of alternation. And finally, we get our wave 5 that goes down to here. Now, what I'm thinking here is that this is going to become a double bottom, and that price is likely to go higher and become the, again, the all-time wave 3. Well, I need to back this up, of course, with momentum and looking at volume and some other stuff. So why do I think that the double bottom is going to occur around here? Well, let's look at some trend momentum and trend and the rate of change. So when you're looking at a trend to try to determine how strong it is, that is pretty important because a strong trend will typically just lead to a continuation, and it's going to be pretty hard to slow down a strong trend, I mean, as you can see here. So a strong trend has two main qualities when looking at price action. It's going to have very little pullback. So what that means is the trend, let's isolate this guy here. This trend has very, very little bullish pullback. You actually really don't see many, you only see one green 4-hour candle, and the market just kind of went down. The bulls weren't really that strong when they were fighting back here. The second thing that you want to see is very quick momentum. So momentum is just how quickly price goes in that trending direction in a short period of time. I see very strong momentum here. We went down 35%. We went down 35% in a time period of about a day and a half. So 35% in a day and a half for Bitcoin is a very, very, very quick, strong momentum downtrend. As a result, we get this weak wave upward. Again, why am I saying this is weak? Well, we get up, pullback, pullback, up. Previous support did become future resistance right there. Price went down. So that does make sense for very, very strong momentum. And then we also see strong momentum down here as well. Do we see strong momentum in the current downtrend? I'm going to say no. I really don't think that this looks like a very strong downtrend. And I'm going to get into the Elliott Wave specifics of why in about a minute. Reason being is we get pullback here, then pullback here, and then major pullback here that does go past previous support. And then momentum-wise, this downtrend doesn't seem to have very, very strong momentum. I know it might look like this is a very quickly moving downtrend, but if we compare it to other downtrends like that, and especially like that, this is quick momentum downtrend. And even here as well. Here, this downtrend is incredibly strong compared to this downtrend that's just moving a bit slower, as crazy as Bitcoin may have seen in the past few weeks. So I'm thinking that this is more of a weak downtrend, potentially even a channel, where you get this is gonna be an ugly channel that I'm drawing here, but something like that. And then for your lows, you get something like that or something like that-ish. Yeah, so just a downward channel, and then probably a price breakout above that channel. All right, so we talked about the Elliott Wave specifics of here. We talked about the Elliott Wave specifics on the weekly. We also talked about momentum and how I think that this is a pretty weak downtrend and likely to turn into a strong uptrend. Finally, let's talk about the Elliott Wave specifics of this wave downward here. So if we isolate this double top and then just look at the beginning of the wave here, we see a really interesting Elliott wave pattern that doesn't really occur as much. We see a wave 2 sideways and a wave 4 sharp. So a sharp retracement and a sideways retracement for wave 2. So wave 2 was in the sweet spot of 38.2 to 50%, right here, right in between. And then we see that wave 4 is the 61.8 to 78.6 sweet spot for the sharp retracement, right here. And I did say that price does go past previous support here. We had some initial resistance here at previous support, which makes sense, then lower. And then price does go up to these high support levels here to test them before going down. So this is a pretty strong indicator of bullish strength before price went down. So I think that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I back that up with momentum, but let's also back that up with Elliott wave projections and also Fibonacci extensions. So typically when you want to find really good levels to buy in and really good levels of support, what you want to do is draw a Fibonacci extension on a retracement. So what I mean by that is you want to isolate the major trend. So here it's clearly a downtrend. And then you want to draw on a bullish retracement from the low to the high of that bullish retracement. So what I mean by that is this. Let's isolate this. We have a downtrend, and then we have an uptrend. This is our wave 2. Let's draw a Fibonacci from the low to the high of this, and see where the 1.618 was. The 1.618 was actually beautifully the end of wave 3. Remember? 1, 2, 3. It was the end of wave 3, and then the beginning of wave 4, as you can see here. Now let's do the same thing, but we are going to draw that onto wave 4. So if I draw that on wave 4, what do I see? I see that the 1.618 is at 60.42. So that is giving me a good amount of confidence that price may make a double bottom at around the 6K area. To give some even more confluence at that level, let's look at this bullish retracement against the major downtrend here, just to find some confluence. So it looks like that 1.618 is at 59.88. That tells me two things. One, that does give me confluence for the 6K level to become future double bottom support, beginning of major wave 3. The second thing that tells me is that there might be a stop loss hunt for Bitcoin. So a stop loss hunt is going to be a large tail that occurs, and let's just say price makes a large tail where a lot of people sell very, very quickly. Price goes down to here, then immediately shoots right back up. Not that high, but like here immediately. The reason that occurs is a little bit, I wouldn't say scummy, but it's just the way that the market works. Many retail traders probably have stop losses below 6K. I would say that the 5,800 to 5,999 level is going to have a lot of stop losses. And not only that, will all those stop losses be triggered, but if price breaks support here, I expect a very quick sell-off that's just going to kill many retail positions where people are going to panic. If we do see that, then I think that price may make a quick move downward where people panic and give up on Bitcoin, and they're shocked when price goes right back up. One thing I will say, if price goes sub 6K, I think that there's one thing you really got to watch out for. Actually, two things. One, you do not want to see price consolidating below 6K. You want to see a V reversal, where price goes down, makes a tail, and immediately goes back up above 6K. If you see a downward move below 6K and then just consolidation, that could be a distribution of sellers beginning to emerge, of strong sellers, which could push price down even lower. I don't think that will happen, but if you do see consolidation below this level, that's not a good sign. The second thing that would be a pretty bad sign would be price closing below 6K. So you would maybe want to see a price tail below 6K. You do not want to see price closing on like the 1 hour below 6K. That would be a very bad sign for Bitcoin. So yeah, so I think it would make sense that the 6K area could become support for that because of these confluence. However, there is one interesting thing that I do have to say that is pretty interesting. This support level has a large amount of confluence when you look at Fibonacci projections and Elliott Wave Theory. Let's project the Elliott Wave 1 onto 2. So this is projecting, the final wave 3. So if we were just find the distance of wave 1, let's put that on wave 2. 65.44 is where support would be. Let's do that one more time, but wave 3 distance onto 4. Wave 3 onto 4. Perfect. There is some very good confluence at 65.17 to 65.44, where both got hit and price immediately went up in a V formation. This amount of Confluence does tell me that this is a pretty strong support point and would have been a really good spot to buy if you know how to use Fibonacci projections to try to find these spots down here. I still do think that there's I don't want to say for sure because that would be incorrect. I think that there's a higher probability that we might see 6K. That the price does go down to 6K to test a double bottom. Maybe makes a tail below 6 to trigger stop losses, and so that we can accumulate strong buyers with limit orders. So that the stop losses are selling to a limit order. And then price might just make a V reversal like that and then go up for a very good amount. However, I do have to look at the other side of the analysis that this amount of confluence with these Elliott waves, with the 1 distance onto here and then the 3 distance onto here giving support, that this could become a pretty crucial support point. So yeah, for that. However, that does give me a perfect segue into talking about volume, and then we're going to be talking about sentiment analysis. So if we look at volume, typically reversals will occur with a volume spike. So you can see that here. We have volume spikes and price reversed, right? Volume spikes at the beginning of the downtrend and price went down. Price reversed from an uptrend into a downtrend, right? Here, many people had sold and then price went up. Here as well. This volume spike occurred at the end of this wave 1, and then price went beautifully into wave 2 after that volume spike. Here as well. You can see this volume spike where a lot of people were buying and then price went down. So volume spike areas where just a lot of transactions are taking place typically lead to a change in the market. So this is overall downtrend. So what you want to see is a lot of volume being transacted in a very quick period of time. I am seeing that here with, let me zoom in on those candles. I am seeing that here. I saw a lot of selling occurring at these volume spikes here. However, one thing I am seeing is a drop off in volume as price is moving a bit upward. This isn't to say that price can't go higher, but this amount of just dropping off in volume where price is moving sideways, I don't think this is a great sign for instant bullishness. Of course, any probability can occur, but this tells me that I don't think price is ready to really spike up yet. Maybe we go back down to that 6K level. To show you another example of what I mean, this uptrend was fascinating if you're a volume kind of trader. If you look at my moving average, that orange line, you can clearly see volume is falling as price is moving upward. The volume moving average for the 20 is just falling a lot, smaller and smaller. That is not what you want to see for a trend. If volume is falling as price is moving upward, that shows that there's probably not enough demand at higher prices, not enough demand for people to buy. And if there's not enough demand for people to buy, then they might start selling, and that's what happened here. Even more clinical, take a look at this uptrend compared to this uptrend volume. The volume transacted from here to here was tiny. The volume was just kind of falling apart. And look, compare that volume to this downtrend. Lots and lots of volume around here, and that's why price went lower. More transactions were occurring around there. So yeah, so I think that I would love to see, for confirmation for 6K, I would love to see just a quick volume spike that goes like, I'd say up to here or higher. Just a surge in transactions where many people are selling all at once like that. Everyone who wanted to sell sold, and we're oversold for sure. When that happens. So a quick volume spike I would like to see here. So we saw that here, consolidation, and then if price goes down, I want to see a lot of volume being transacted. So that's just the quick volume portion of what we might see. All right, let's turn on sentiment. So this is the green and red lines. I know it's going to look a little bit messy, but this is incredibly important to talk about. Looking at retail sentiment. This also does confirm that I think that this support, the price might go below support. The reason I say that is looking at sentiment. We had a beautiful drop-off. Let me just isolate long sentiment to begin. We had a beautiful drop-off in long sentiment down to here. So that already is very bullish. That's kind of the way that the market works. You want to know when many retail traders have sold and then buy after they all sell. This is a great opportunity to buy, right there. And if you had bought, you probably would have, you could have covered a nice profit here. However, the minute that price went down here, many people hit stop losses. Retail crowd actually began to accumulate positions. As you can see here with the increase in sentiment. So we went from a high of 40,000 Bitcoin held in long. We went to a low of about 27.6 K Bitcoin long positions, and now we are currently at 32.7 Bitcoin long positions. I would like to see, if price goes lower, I want to see these guys just fall off a cliff. As dirty as that sounds, I want to see sentiment just falling very, very low, where many retail traders are not buying. I want to see retail traders selling. So yeah, that would make sense. And now let's actually pop on the short sentiment as well. You can see that short sentiment is rising, which is good. I want to see retail traders who are selling if price does go lower. Now finally, let's look at the Fibonacci, pardon, not Fibonacci, sentiment percent, this line here. Okay, so remember, this is something different. This is just the long percent, so how many longs, percent of the market. It was even at a high at what I'm reading, 78%. Now only 52.6% are long, and we went down to a low of 49.3% long. And if you do like trading sentiment, this is a very simple way that you can actually trade in a really good manner. Like if you look here, just way back, just for some quick lesson, this would have been a really good spot to buy. The sentiment the retail long percent goes really small here, and then price went up. Not surprisingly again, price sentiment does spike exactly at that market top. Price goes down. It spikes again at this market top here, and then they fall as longs fall as well. Beautiful. Again here, look at this. Sentiment does spike at this minor market bottom. This is just terrible. What was happening to these longs? So price went down here. Many people thought that this was support. Many retail traders have bought here, but then price went lower, hit their stop losses, and then they gave up down here. So you can see sentiment fell back down to this value here. Then price went up. This is just the dirty kind of things that sentiment's going to do. Here again, we see a quick spike in sentiment, price goes down. Here we see a quick spike in long percent sentiment, price goes down. Here, they're all buying, and then price goes down. Now they're all selling. Where's price going to go? So that is sentiment, a beautiful indicator for trading contrarian. Yeah. So that's going to be it for this video. We went over 3 different kinds of Elliott waves. We looked at the weekly, we looked at the 4-hour long-term and the 4-hour short-term on this. We then looked at market momentum. We were looking about how strong downtrends were occurring, like this is a very strong downtrend, this is not a strong downtrend, and so on. And then we talked about some volume analysis, looking at volume spikes and volume trends as well, how this is not really having a lot of volume. So it would make more sense that price would go lower, down to 6K, then it would make more sense than it would for price to go higher. So I would say that for my, tried and true prediction, I'd say like a 70% probability to around 6K. And then I would probably give about, when I say 6K, I mean 5,900 to 6K, because I think we might see a stop loss hunt. That would make sense to kill a lot of retail traders. Yeah, and then when I'm looking at other potential opportunity things that could happen, I'd say 70% for 5,900 to 6K. I'd say like 20% that price just kind of begins the uptrend here, and then 10% Bitcoin dies, and price goes sub 5,800. Which, yeah, so all 3 are an option. Price goes up, price goes way below 5,800, or price goes down to that sweet spot, and then just begins wave 3. Okay, so yeah, again, just to remind, I put this in the beginning of the video, but there is a price prediction challenge where you can post your own kind of charts and do the same thing that I'm doing and win a prize for it. So yeah, enjoy your day, and let's hope Bitcoin survives.